Well, as of the making of this video, the Arknights global server is currently going through a special event for the game's 5th anniversary. Fun Pepe stuff and all that, and well, 5 years is quite the milestone for a gacha game, and to last this long and still be somewhat relevant with a cool player base, I think that's pretty great. So as someone who has played this game since day one and still thoroughly enjoys this game, I thought I'd put together this video, just my personal list of reasons, cause I would love for Arknights to last as long as possible and maybe motivate some of you all watching at home to stick with the game, or even come back if I'm convincing enough. But yeah, I'm just gonna ramble now. I guess starting with the gameplay, cause, well, it's a, it's a video game. It's fun, at least for me. I love strategy games, or just games that make you think a bit, even if it means pushing my only brain cell to its limit. The sort of games that have that wiggle room to mess around. RimWorld, XCOM, Fire Emblem, those are just some off of the top of my head that I enjoy. Anyways, I know tower defense games aren't for everyone, and some might even say it's fucking boring. The point is, the genre has its niche, and I've always appreciated the take on this tower defense genre. And it may be a small thing, but some of my favorite base gameplay stuff is how you are preparing a squad of a predetermined size. And that sounds absolutely generic, but hear me out. You are limited to a single skill, as to every skill in existence all activating at the same time. You pick and choose what role your operators take for the map, and that's made even more important with the fact that you can't deploy multiple of the same operator like many other tower defense games you might see. Well, actually, summoners exist, and they have multiple of the same units. You get the point. On top of having one of each unit, there are other strategic factors like keeping your operators healthy, redeployment times if they go down, or if you want to reposition. There's also when to pop that 60-second skill that takes ages to charge up. The game's got a lot of depth, which I highly appreciate because, personally, I much prefer a game that is too complicated than too basic, which obviously there are flaws to each of the things, but I much prefer strategizing around. And I think where this game shines in gameplay specifically is the variety of strategies and options available for the player to clear as they wish. And what I mean by that is stuff like attempting cool self-imposed challenges, playing around with silly or cheesy strategies. It's not always a game of bring best units here, and yeah, of course there's a meta, and on top of that it's a gacha game, and you probably want to at least attempt to maximize account gains. And that's the other thing, after upgrading all the 6 stars you can, your already built lower rarity operators are still relevant. At least most of them anyways. Personally, I still use many of my lower rarity units, maybe not in normal play like story or event stages, but in other game modes like integrated strategies especially. They are still very usable, low hope costs and everything. Cruise is still one of my most used units over there. But back to the whole good units thing, you really don't need every single busted 6-star out there. And sure, they're nice and making clearing contingency contract events that much easier, but they're not strictly necessary. I mean, there are many Arknights content creators out there whose main shtick is making stage guides, often the low rarity variants, which, by the way, to all those people, thank you for helping out the player base. And if you do need that one busted 6-star, that's what friend supports are for, filling your Weasadel-shaped hole, so obtaining a particular operator is not as horribly urgent. And speaking of obtaining operators, smooth transition, the gacha rates. I'm going to tread carefully here, but I think it's safe to say that most gacha games live and die by the pulling rates. And Arknights, in my opinion, has one of the friendlier ones. Maybe that is helped by the fact that you don't need every busted unit out there, but the rates aren't bad. 40% for 4 stars, 50% for 4 stars, 8 for 5s, and 2 for 6s, I've seen worse. And you've got plenty of ways to get pulls. Now that being said, I have been through the worst of what the gacha system has to offer. 300 pulls unlimited banners. Rate up is a lie and all that, it's pretty painful. But I digress, there is no multiplayer competitive mode, so it's not the end of the world. But I get it, when you save up all that Arundum for your favorite character only to be absolutely shafted, it sucks. But most of the time, it's fairly good, I'd say. At least this is coming from a person that only really buys monthly cards. I don't whale or anything like that. The next thing I will touch on for this video, lore and character design. I'm not going to go too deep into this, I'm not really the lore character design expert here. But I do read the story. So I usually see 3 camps regarding lore. There's the thorough lore enjoyers. You may have seen lots of lore type videos on YouTube, story summaries, dubs, analyses. Then there's the people that don't read and are like, what's an infected? Is it something KOB inhales? And then there's the casual readers just enjoying the story. This is the camp I fall into. And I think the lore gives a lot of life to the characters, gets you more invested into the world and the roles everyone plays, which is great for that extra motivation of being involved with Arknights in general, because there's a lot of story, enough to probably write several books with. Also, please give me more Nightmare lore. But yeah, character design. Honestly, they're right up my alley in terms of style. My favorite part about them is honestly just the outfits. I don't know how to describe it, but they're just cool. Like, the sort of stuff I would wear IRL, unironically. And to be fair, the world of Terra is essentially Earth but with cancer rocks. And actually, fun fact if you don't know, there was an IRL clothing brand collab, which I really wished I could have picked it up, but I couldn't find a way to reasonably get it to where I live, but man, Ifrit, that jacket is very much my style. Wish I could have bought it. But yes, character design. Love the characters. And how they look. They look cool. So to round out this video, I'm going to talk about the daily grind, because honestly, there are just some days where I don't feel like playing a whole lot, but still want to log in for the daily rewards. And Arknights has made it surprisingly easy. I've played some gacha games where, honestly, the daily grind is so exhausting that after a long period of time, it just kills my motivation to play that game. Cough, cough, Genshin Impact, cough, cough. So I'm glad Arknights, the dailies are much easier to do. You log in, set some recruits, head to the base, click a couple buttons at the bottom to collect everything, swap out my tired operators, do the clue shenanigans, visit friends 10 times, spend all the credit store, and set the auto-deploy to spend my sanity, and bang, daily's done! That might seem like a lot, but that's basically 5 minutes out of my day, and after I set my auto-deploy, which, by the way, such a good quality of life feature. But after I set my auto-deploy, I just do something else. Like go make breakfast, get up from bed. But it's really that easy, I think. And just thought I'd mention all that, because after half a decade of playing, the daily grind does start weighing down on you. And yeah, that is a short little chat about some of the reasons why I still play Arknights. Just a guy sharing their enjoyment for this lovely game. And feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, do have yourselves a good rest of your day, and play some Arknights too, it's fun.